This is not something that I anticipate there's going to be much controversy over, but I think it's actually quite funny, so I'm just going to talk about it anyway. You've probably heard the news. There's a woman out there that was upset that the iPhone XS is advertised with this particular wallpaper. I think it's quite nice. It's very subtle and it's dynamic when you activate 3D touch. The wallpaper moves in the background. It looks very clean. It's very minimal. But she was upset that when she bought her iPhone XS, she unlocked it and started using apps and realized there's a notch. Yeah, she didn't get upset about the iPhone 10 when that came out. She just went ahead and assumed that because the wallpaper they advertised the XS with blacked out the notch at the top, that there wouldn't be a notch on this generation of iPhone. So obviously she turned on the phone and was very upset. I mean, hey, a lot of us are in the tech genre. A lot of us watch YouTube videos and we know that iPhones have notches. That was not a mystery to us. But maybe some everyday people don't know that. Maybe everyday users are kind of bothered by that, and I think they have every right to be a little bit upset that there's an irregularity in the display, there's a camera cutout, and they're a little bit frustrated by that. So there's a lot of options you could do. So option one, maybe just suck it up a little bit and say, you know what, the notch is kind of annoying, but the rest of the phone is working fine. There's not that much content on that part of the phone anyway. I guess I'll just get used to it like everyone else, the millions of other people who have bought this phone. I'll get used to the notch and just use my phone. Option two, you decide for yourself, you know what, I don't like this phone. This is stupid. There's a notch on there. I'm annoyed with the notch, so I don't want this phone anymore. So, thanks to Apple having a 15-day return policy, you could have turned the phone on and immediately see the notch, decide that you don't like it, and then return it. Get a 100% refund. Get all your money back and say, I'm gonna spend my business elsewhere. I don't like Apple's marketing tactics, so I'm gonna move on with my life and just live without a notch and find some phone that doesn't have one. Or, of course, there's some people in this world that love going straight to option three. Option three, sue the company. Try to get as much money out of them as you possibly can. So there's a lot of hypocrisy and a lot of funny things about this story. So for one, not only does Apple have a 15-day return policy for all of their products, which meant that this woman, if she was upset with the notch, could have gotten a 100% refund. She did not have to be cheated by Apple or cheated by marketing. She could completely abuse Apple, use it for a week, try to get used to it. If she can't get used to it, then give the phone back and Apple will give you a refund. But on top of that, we're in the holiday season, which means that actually the Apple return program has been extended so that if you're in the holiday season and you buy an Apple product, the return policy goes till January 8th. At least it does in the US. In many other countries, they do similar things. Regardless, though, she could have bought the phone and used it for a full month and take it back to Apple and get a 100% refund. Again, if she didn't like the notch. Now, the other hypocrisy to this argument that Apple's got false marketing schemes is looking at how many other companies try to hide the notch with wallpapers. Companies like Google, which during their keynote made very, very obvious attempts at picking wallpapers that did not showcase their notch and showing different angles of the Pixel 3 without showing the notch. And this is incredibly common across most smartphone companies that develop phones with notches. Sometimes they embrace it with their advertised wallpaper, other times they don't, but this is by no means something that is rare. The other thing that she is including in her lawsuit is that the displays on the iPhone XS and XS Max are actually not as big as advertised. So Apple says that the iPhone XS has a 5.8-inch display, when in actuality it is a 5.687-inch display, and they just round it up to 5.8 because Apple's measuring the display as if it were a perfect rectangle, but the display has curved corners, which of course cuts down on a little bit of the width, which means that yes, the advertised dimensions of the display are actually 0.05 inches off on both corners of the phone. But as we all know, was anyone really upset about that? I just want to see the one guy that was like, oh my god, the iPhone XS has a 5.8-inch display? That's amazing! By the way, they did not want to file this lawsuit for the iPhone 10 that came out a year ago, which has the exact same display size, same display panel, same curved corners, and they advertised it as a 5.8-inch display. They never brought that up. A whole year went by and they never brought that up. And then iPhone XS comes out, now this crosses the line. Now this goes too far, even though it's the exact same size. And the thing I would have to say to the lady, if she ever by chance ends up watching this video, if you're trying to sue Apple, you have to take into consideration the disclaimers that are available on their website. Not to mention how many times on their website or how many times they don't hide the notch. They picked a specific wallpaper to tease the release of the iPhone XS, but I find it very, very difficult how you completely missed that. If you go to their website, it's literally right beneath the advertisement for the XS with that nice wallpaper, but it doesn't showcase the notch. There's a video of the iPhone XS, and the notch is right there. If you go to the tech specs, they showcase the displays. The notches are right there. If you go to the overview and you learn more about the XS, they showcase the notches in basically every single stage of the process, except the ones that have this particular wallpaper, which is just supposed to make it look sleek and cool and futuristic and premium. But because they chose that wallpaper, now this person is upset. In fact, if you even go to the disclaimer parts of the tech specs, it is listed that as measured as a perfect rectangle, the iPhone XS has a 5.8-inch display, but because of the curved corners, the actual viewing area is less. It says that right on the website. This was not added after the lawsuit started. This has always been there. Just for the record, Apple has always been upfront about the fact that, okay, look, we say 5.8-inch, but it's actually 5.687, but I don't think that rolls off the tongue as nicely, and the fact that they want to keep things simple by measuring it as a rectangle means that 5.8 inches is just the number they go with. If you're curious if this is just an Apple problem, it really isn't, because Samsung does very similar things. Ever since they started doing their curved displays, Samsung will advertise you the higher number so that it sounds more impressive, even though because the display curves off on the edge, the actual rectangular part of the display where content is displayed normally without being distorted is actually less. And if you go down to the tech specs on a Galaxy Note 9, it will tell you 6.4 inches is the size of the display, like all the advertisements tell you, but if you're measuring it as a regular rectangle, it's actually 6.3. The reason I don't think anyone's ever gotten that upset over it is because we're talking about super small incremental measurements. Are there people that specifically bought the iPhone XS because they knew it was a 5.8-inch display? Were there people out there that were literally like, man, I want to get a new iPhone, but I'm just sick of all these 5.6-inch displays out there. The fact that all the displays in the smartphone market, they're 5.6 inches. Check out the iPhone XS. It actually has a 5.8-inch display. No, really? Finally, someone who made a 5.8-inch display. Thank you, Apple. And then they buy the phone and they unbox it and they're like, wait a minute. And they pull out their ultra-sensitive measuring tool and they compare the display panels and they go, dang it, it's 5.687. It's not 5.8 inches. False advertising. What a terrible, corrupt company. How dare they do this? I'm gonna sue him and I'm gonna win. I'm gonna hire a lawyer. This lawyer's gonna take the case and we are gonna sue Apple and make sure I get my money back. You can just return the phone within a 15-day window and we'll give you your money back. That's not enough. I want tens of thousands of dollars because you lied to me. If you go on our website, it actually says that the viewing area is less, but no, you lied and I'm gonna make sure you pay for it. Very, very funny story in my opinion, thinking of someone getting that upset, which is why at the end of the day, I don't actually think this person is that upset. It's likely just someone who knows that they found some type of legal loophole that a lawyer thought was legitimate enough, and they think they're probably gonna get some amount of money from Apple because they're an incredibly rich, very, very wealthy company, and they imagine if they sue them, Apple might just pay them off to not deal with the court dates, hand this lady 10, 20 grand, and she'll be happy because she'll get that money, and Apple, to them, that's chump change. They don't care about money amounts that are that small. They just want to not deal with the court cases. So that's probably what's more likely common in this story. I know it's not as exciting, but yeah, I don't genuinely believe that someone was that upset about a notch and the viewing area of a smartphone. This was more of a fact-checking point. I don't think anyone actually gets this upset when they unbox their phone and are like, the viewing area is less. No, I don't think anyone's like that. So regardless, I doubt she'll win the case, but Apple may end up paying her a certain amount of money just to go about her day. All I gotta say, lady, is good luck finding a phone without a notch out there that has an all-screen design. Just stick with your iPhone 8 Plus with giant forehead and chin, or enjoy the Vivo Next dual-screen smartphone. Yay, no cases, no wireless charging. Woohoo, have fun. Anywho, let me know what you guys think of this lawsuit in this case down in the comments below. This is your Apple Sheep here. I'll see you in the next one.